I started the run by naming myself Dawn and my rival Malik. I grabbed the potion from the PC and immediately ran outside. Then I grabbed Electrode, which was of course immediately followed by the first rival fight. I just sort of spammed Sonic Boom and it just sort of worked. I unnecessarily healed at the Pokemon Center and grabbed Oak's parcel. I got a free potion from this guy, and then Professor Oak gave me a Pokedex. I yoinked this hidden potion and did the optional rival fight. Since Sonic Boom does a flat 20 damage no matter what, it's quite useful in the early game, but of course it will drop off later when enemies get stronger. After that short detour, I entered Viridian Forest. I grabbed this secret potion and fought the bug catcher. I'm gonna stop pointing out when I use Sonic Boom from now on. I was a little scared about Brock, so I decided to fight the trainer in his gym first, and as it turns out, I was more scared than I needed to be. After beating Brock, there's really nothing to talk about. I did want to kill myself because I needed to go back through Route 3 to grab Pokeballs so I could catch enough Pokemon to get Flash for Rock Tunnel. I picked up the Helix fossil because, of course. In Cerulean City, I was a little confused about who to fight first, so I fought Rival 2. I really am just a one-trick pony, aren't I? I was able to get through Nugget Bridge with ease, unnecessarily grabbed Thunder Wave, before helping out a closeted furry and obtaining Dig. I traveled through Diglett Cave in order to get Flash. I had to travel back through Route 9 so I could buy Repels. At the end of Rock Tunnel, there's a hiker with 2 Geodudes and a Graveler. He tends to use Self-Destruct a lot. He used it on me, though I was able to get a Generation 1 miss. A 1 in 256 chance. We take those. I bought a Freshwater and 2 Pokédolls, though one of them ended up being useless. In the Pokemon Tower, I fought my rival again, but this time I had Light Screen. It didn't end up mattering since his Growlithe was too much for me. I won the next attempt, but I still fainted due to the poison Ivysaur put on me. Just because Sonic Boom can hit ghosts doesn't mean it'll be fun. I went and got Fly, before remembering I can't even use it since I never got the Thunder Badge. So I had to get that, and again. Then I kinda cheated by biking up and down while Electrode was in the daycare. I picked him back up after only 2 levels, making sure to check that the daycare man didn't replace any of his moves. He didn't, so I can move on. I used Pidgey to fly back to Lavender Town to take care of the tower proper. As you can see, I never got the Sylph Scope. This is why I needed one of the Pokédolls. Normally, you need the Sylph Scope to see and defeat the Marowak ghost at the end, but using a Pokédoll has the same effect. Of course, from here I'm able to save Mr. Fuji no problem and obtain the Pokeflute. I used Pidgey to fly again, this time to Celadon City, in order to deal with Snorlax, who I just ran away from. I hugged the right wall of Cycling Road, which let me bypass all of the trainers. Now I was in Fuchsia City. The first thing I did was go into the Safari Zone in order to get the Warden's Teeth and Surf. I also taught Electrode Double Team, one of the moves it would have for the rest of the run. After exiting the Safari Zone, I gave the Warden his teeth in exchange for the Strength HM. After getting it, I made my way to the Sylph Building, which took longer than I'm willing to admit. Once I finally did find the car key, it did not take long for me to reach the 5th rival fight. Obviously, my strategy is to set up 6 double teams and then sweep his entire team with Thunderbolt. Gyarados was never going to be an issue, since he's quad weak to Thunderbolt. After beating my rival, I get the free Lapras and fight Giovanni. His Nidoqueen is immune to Thunderbolt, but apart from that, the battle was free. After beating Giovanni, I realized I hadn't gotten a single badge since Lieutenant Surge. With that, I flew back to Celadon to fight Erica. I was a little worried since all of her Pokemon resist Thunderbolt, but being overleveled and having Swift removed all fear. In Koga's gym, I made a huge mistake. I skipped the dropped my balls text box. Though on a serious note, Koga was easy. Same strategy as before. For beating Koga, you get Toxic, which I didn't even know Electrode could learn. It ended up being a saving grace for this run. After retrieving the secret key from Cinnabar Mansion, I used Dig to get out, only to realize that my last used Pokemon Center was the one in Fuchsia City. No problem, I just needed to fly back. Blaine's gym has this unique thing where you can answer trivia questions to skip trainers, but I fought them all anyway because they're just free XP. Blaine is, as always, free. He's only really hard if you're doing a solo run with something he's strong against. He's so easy, here's the fight in its entirety. After anti-socialing my way through Sabrina's gym, I easily swept her team, even with it being comprised of Pokemon with high special. Once Sabrina defeated, I had 7 out of 8 badges, so it was back to Viridian City for the final, and hardest badge, Giovanni's badge. His whole team is immune to Thunderbolt, and Nidoking and Nidoqueen are immune to Toxic. Even still, since I set up 6 double teams, this was never a matter of if I could beat him. It was a matter of how long it would take. With all 8 badges, it was time to fight the second-to-last rival fight. He does have a Rhyhorn, but I have Toxic. Making my way to Victory Road, I listened to a
Certified Hood Classic.
And then, there I was. The Indigo Plateau. The final stretch. I deposited everyone else into the PC and sold all of my useless items. But I did one thing that ended up biting me in the ass during the Elite Four. Before heading into the Elite Four proper, I gave Electrode the last little bit of experience he needed to level up, and then used both of my rare candies. So I'm going into the Elite Four a tad underleveled, but I do not care. Lorelei goes down with ease, since most of her Pokemon are part water type. Bruno is a touch harder, since he has 2 Onixes. Toxic swift to the rescue. Agatha is, of course, no issue. Upon entering Lance's room, I used a Max Ether and an Elixir to restore my PP. Once I beat Lance, I realized I'd never bought any healing items, so I was going into the final fight with only 88 HP. I just had to pray my 6 double teams could keep me safe. I realized quickly that Pidgeot was going to use nothing but Mirror move, so I had to take it out with Thunderbolt and set up on Alakazam instead. Of course, this was much scarier, but I had no other options. Luckily, he spammed Reflect and tried Recover, neither of which made any difference to me. After setting up, I decided to go for Toxic, because even though Alakazam is a glass cannon, Electrode's attack is abysmal. After a crit Swift, he used Recover, which means I need another 2 to knock him out. But then he goes and uses a full Restore, meaning I'll have to set up Toxic again. With that minor setback out of the way, I now had to face Rhyhorn. Of course, my only option was Toxic Phil Swift. He uses a Leer through my double teams, which thanks to our good old friend the Badge Boost glitch is actually a good thing. Unfortunately, upon his defeat, Electrode levels up, which means my glitched Badge Boosts are gone. Still, Gyarados can't do a damn thing against a quad-effective Thunderbolt. Against Arcanine, I don't kill, even with a crit, so I have to go back and battle Rhydon and Gyarados again. Once I make it back to Arcanine, I make sure to save state and then use Toxic, since I know I'll need more than 1 attack to KO. Now, it was just me and Venusaur. Thunderbolt isn't very effective, and it's a poison type, meaning all I can use is Flex Tape, the super strong waterproof tape. Luckily, I'm able to paralyze it with a Thunderbolt after a full restore. After running out of Thunderbolts, I'm forced to switch to Swift, which combined with getting lucky with Paralysis, is able to snag me the victory. Yeah, looking back, I feel dirty with how much I abused the save states. I got an in-game time of almost 7 hours, with a real time of roughly an hour 49 minutes, and Electrode being level 58. I did horribly. I would need some actual practice in order to bring this anywhere near a respectable time. Oh, and hey, if you're still here, you should like the video, and maybe even subscribe.